to another episode of Tech Dose by ReviewHub. I'm Geary, and with me today is Maya. We're both here at ReviewHub, and today we are going to be taking a deep dive into a device that has really been causing a buzz around the office. It's the brand new Google Pixel 9a.
Oh, yeah.
We recently put it through its paces for our review, and I think we found some pretty fascinating stuff. I think our listeners are really going to find this valuable.
Absolutely. I think the Pixel A series has always kind of carved out this unique space, right? Offering that quintessential Pixel experience.
Right.
Without the, premium price tag.
Right.
And I think from what we've seen, the 9A is poised to really redefine what that value proposition can be.
Yeah.
So our mission today in this deep dive is to go beyond just like the spec sheet and really understand if this phone earns the title of, budget flagship killer. So we're going to be looking at how it stacks up against its predecessors. And, a key competitor in the market, the Apple iPhone 16e, especially when you consider that $499 price tag.
Right.
Is it the real deal? That's what we're here to find out.
Okay, so first thing that jumps out, and it literally jumps out, is the design. Google has definitely taken a different direction here.
They have.
Haven't they? That iconic camera bar that's been a Pixel hallmark is gone.
Yeah.
Replaced by this sleeker camera island that sits practically flush with the back. What was the thinking behind that?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's more than just a cosmetic change. What we found really fascinating is that this redesign was really driven by practical considerations.
Oh, yeah.
They needed to make room for a significantly larger battery, which is a story in itself. We'll get to that powerhouse later.
Okay.
And a thinner POLED display. So it's a case of form genuinely following function, which I think a lot of times leads to better overall user experience.
Yeah, and it sounds like they haven't skimped on how the phone feels in your hand either. We're looking at an aluminum frame coupled with a plastic back. That seems like a really smart way to balance like a solid premium feel with everyday durability.
Precisely. I think the aluminum frame gives you that rigidity,
Right.
while the plastic back probably keeps the weight manageable.
Right.
And, let's be honest, probably makes it a little bit more forgiving if you happen to drop it.
Yeah.
And then for those of us who live in fear of water damage, the IP68 water and dust resistance is a major step up from the 8A's IP67 rating.
Huge.
So sudden downpour, accidental drop in the sink, you should be okay.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, peace of mind feature for sure. And for those who like a bit of personality, it comes in obsidian, porcelain, peony, and iris. So a nice range of colors to match different styles.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about what we look at all day, the screen.
Okay.
And it sounds like that has received a pretty substantial upgrade too.
It has. You are now getting a larger 6.3-inch actual OLED display, up from the 6.1-inch screen on the 8A.
Okay.
So that extra real estate might not sound like a lot, but it really does enhance everything from reading articles to editing photos on the go. But here's where it gets really interesting. Brightness? We're talking about a peak brightness of 2700 nits.
2700 nits. That's a 35% increase over the 8A.
It is.
I can only imagine what a difference that makes outdoors.
It's huge. Think about using your phone on a bright, sunny day. For comparison, the iPhone 16e reportedly tops out at like 1200 nits.
Oh.
So the Pixel 9a is just in a different league when it comes to outdoor visibility. Trying to navigate using maps in direct sunlight, the 9a should be significantly clearer and easier to read.
Right.
So that's a very tangible benefit.
That's a huge practical advantage.
It is.
And it's not just about getting brighter. We're also seeing smoother scrolling experience with the introduction of 120 hertz adaptive refresh rate.
Exactly. That higher refresh rate just makes everything feel more fluid and responsive. Whether you're just swiping through social media feeds or even playing games, it's one of those subtle improvements that once you get used to it going back, feels jarring. And for the tech enthusiasts out there, the resolution is full HD plus LEGO Day, which is 1080 by 2424 pixels, resulting in a very sharp and detailed picture, thanks to a pixel density of 422.2 pixels per inch. So text looks crisp, images are detailed.
All right, let's move on to the part that Pixel phones are probably most famous for, the camera.
Okay.
Google is very confidently stating that the 9A has the best camera under $500. That's a bold claim. in a very competitive market.
It is.
What makes them so sure?
Well, given Google's track record in computational photography, it's one that I think we should definitely pay attention to.
Okay.
So the dual rear camera system features a 48 MP main camera, which is a slight dip from the 8A's 64 MP sensor,
Okay.
paired with a 13 MP ultra-wide lens, which appears to be carried over.
So they've actually reduced the megapixel count on the main sensor.
Right.
I think it's going to make some people raise an eyebrow.
Sure.
Does that mean a downgrade in image quality?
It's a valid question. I think what's interesting here is Google's long-standing belief that software and AI-driven image processing are often more crucial than sheer megapixels. So their algorithms are working incredibly hard behind the scenes to extract more detail, better dynamic range, more accurate colors than you might expect from a 48 MP sensor. And the 9A also introduces something entirely new to the A series, macro focus.
Oh.
So finally, you can get those detailed close-up shots without needing a separate lens.
That is a fantastic addition.
Yeah.
Getting those intricate details, in nature shots or close-ups of objects, that's something that's so often missing in this price range.
I agree.
What about the AI-powered features that Pixel's known for? What's new on that front?
Yeah, this is where the Pixel camera experience, I think, really shines. We're seeing the debut of AgMe, which is a game changer for group photos.
Okay.
It essentially lets the photographer finally be a part of the picture. By combining multiple shots, then there's Best Take, which intelligently blends facial expressions from different shots to create that elusive, perfect group photo where everyone looks their best.
These sound like features that are really going to solve
Yeah,
everyday photography frustrations for so many people.
I think so.
What else?
We also have Magic Editor with Autoframe, which now offers smart suggestions for better composition after you've taken the photo.
Okay.
And then there's Reimagine, which takes photo editing to a whole new level by allowing you to actually modify elements within your images using simple text prompts. So it's really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with a smartphone camera after the shutter clicks, and of course all the beloved Pixel camera staples like Magic Eraser for removing unwanted objects, Night Sight for incredible low light performance, and astrophotography for capturing the stars are still present and accounted for.
It sounds like they're continuing to innovate in the camera department, even while hitting that more accessible price point.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about what's under the hood performance.
Okay.
This is another area where the 9A seems to have really taken a significant leap forward.
It has. So the inclusion of Google's Tensor G4 chipset is a major upgrade. This is the very same processor that powers their flagship Pixel 9 series.
Okay.
So you're essentially getting flagship-level processing power in a mid-range device.
Wow.
Which is a substantial jump in performance compared to the Tensor G3 that was found in the 8A.
So users should see a noticeable difference in terms of speed and responsiveness.
Definitely. Everything from launching demanding apps to seamless multitasking, smoother gaming should feel significantly snappier.
Okay.
It's paired with 8 GB of RAM, which is the same as the 8A. But a very welcome addition is the 256 GB of internal storage.
Okay.
So Google has wisely done away with that 128 GB base option, which is great news for anyone who captures a lot of photos and videos or downloads a lot of content.
More storage straight out of the box is always a plus.
Always.
And speaking of power, let's talk about the AI features. We touched on some with the camera, but it sounds like the Tensor G4 unlocks even more advanced capabilities.
It does. What's really noteworthy here is that the Pixel 9a is the only smartphone currently available under $500 that features Gemini Nano, Google's powerful on-device AI model.
Okay.
Now, this isn't just marketing jargon. This translates into real, tangible benefits. For the user...
What kind of everyday benefits are we talking about?
I'm talking about things like deeper integration with core Google apps like Maps, Calendar, and YouTube, enabling smarter, more context-aware experiences.
Okay.
So, for example, with Gemini Nano integrated into Maps, you might see more intelligent suggestions based on your location and time. Or be able to have more natural voice conversations to find exactly what you're looking for. Then there's Gemini Live, which promises more intuitive and natural voice-based interactions with Google Assistant. And for those who subscribe to Gemini Advanced, we're looking at upcoming video and screen sharing capabilities powered by this on-device AI.
Wow.
So these are the kinds of intelligent features that really set the Pixel 9a apart in its price category.
It sounds like Google is really doubling down on leveraging AI to enhance the user experience across the board.
They are.
Now, one of the perennial concerns for smartphone users is battery life.
Yes.
And the 9A seems to be making some pretty significant promises in this department.
The Pixel 9a is packing a massive 5100 milliamp battery. That's not just a large battery, it's the largest battery I've ever seen. In a Pixel phone, to give you some context, the Pixel 8a had a 492 milliamp battery.
Okay.
So that's a substantial increase in capacity.
So what kind of real-world endurance are we expecting from this battery behemoth?
So according to our testing and sources, we're looking at over 30 hours of general usage on a single charge, which is a very impressive improvement over the already respectable battery life of the 8A.
Okay.
And if you really need to stretch it out, the extreme battery saver mode can push that to an astonishing 100+ hours in emergencies. Google is even claiming that the Pixel 9a has the best battery life of any Pixel available today, and that includes their flagship devices. So for anyone who's constantly worried about their phone dying, this could be a game changer. And yes, it still supports both wired fast charging and wireless charging, just like the 8A.
That's huge, a phone that's packed with all these features and can also go the distance in a single charge. That's a seriously compelling combination.
I agree.
Now, another area where Pixel phones have consistently stood out is software and update commitment. What can we expect from the 9A in this regard?
So it ships with the latest and greatest Android 15 right out of the box. But the real headline here is Google's industry-leading promise of long-term software support. They're guaranteeing a staggering 7 years of OS updates, security patches, and Pixel feature drops, extending all the way until 2032.
7 years of updates. That's practically unheard of in the Android ecosystem.
It is a huge commitment.
Yeah, it's big.
And if we bring the Apple iPhone 16e back into the conversation, which is only expected to receive around 5 years of software updates, the Pixel 9a offers a significantly longer lifespan in terms of software support, which not only ensures that your phone stays secure and receives the latest features for longer, but also significantly boosts its long-term value and reduces electronic waste.
Absolutely. Now, for our listeners who might already be rocking a Pixel 8a, let's quickly break down the key differences just to help them decide if an upgrade to the 9a is worth considering.
So the key upgrades that you're going to find in the Pixel 9a are a larger and significantly brighter 6.3-inch display, improved IP68 water resistance, the much more powerful Google Tensor G4 processor, a larger 5100 milliamp battery, a standard 256 GB of storage, new camera features like macro focus and AdMe, and it ships with the newer Android 15 operating system.
So if you're someone who really prioritizes a bigger, brighter screen for better media consumption, better outdoor visibility, you need significantly improved battery life. To get through those long days, you want enhanced camera capabilities with those new AI features, and you want to be on the cutting edge of Google's silicon and software for years to come. Then the upgrade to the 9A seems like a pretty clear win.
I think so. However, it's also worth keeping in mind that the Pixel 8a is likely to see some price drops now that the 9A is out. So for example, in markets like India, there's a noticeable price difference between the two. So if budget is the primary concern, and you're still satisfied with the 8A's performance and features, then sticking with it might still be a perfectly sensible choice.
Very practical point. Let's shift gears a little bit and look at how the Pixel 9A stacks up against a key competitor in that budget-friendly premium segment, the Apple iPhone 16e. How do these two compare?
Well, this is where the classic Android versus iOS discussion often comes into play. But let's just look at the core hardware and the features. The Pixel 9a is often available at a lower price point, and in many markets offering double the base storage for less money, as we see in India. Boasts its 120 Hz display with significantly higher peak brightness, a more versatile dual camera system, compared to the iPhone 16's single lens, a substantially larger battery, and that industry-leading 7 years of software support.
So on paper, it really does seem like the Pixel 9a is offering quite a bit more for your money.
It does. You're getting more storage for potentially less cost, a superior display in terms of brightness and refresh rate, more flexibility with the dual camera setup, a bigger battery to last longer, and significantly longer software support. However, it's important to acknowledge the iPhone 16's potential advantages, such as the efficiency of Apple's A-series chip, the seamless integration within the Apple ecosystem if you're already invested there, and potentially better resale value down the line. Ultimately, the best choice often boils down to personal preference for operating systems, and you know how deeply you're already embedded in either the Android or Apple world.
That's a really balanced perspective. So based on everything we've discussed today, who should really be considering picking up the Pixel 9a?
So if you're on the hunt for flagship-level features, without the flagship price tag, if top-notch camera quality and excellent battery life are high on your must-have list. If you're someone who tends to hold onto their phone for several years, and if you appreciate a clean, intuitive Android experience coupled with Google's innovative AI features, then the Pixel 9a should absolutely be on your radar.
And on the flip side, who might want to take a pass on the 9a?
So if you're already a happy owner of the Pixel 8a, and those specific upgrades we've highlighted aren't critical for your needs, if you're deeply entrenched in the Apple ecosystem and have no desire to switch, or if you absolutely demand the absolute fastest performance for very graphics-intensive gaming and nothing else will do, then you might want to explore other options.
Okay, Maya, let's bring it all together for our listeners.
Okay.
What is your final take on the Google Pixel 9a?
I think the Pixel 9a really redefines our expectations. For a smartphone priced at $499, it's not just a capable budget phone. It's a remarkably complete package that genuinely rivals many devices in a much higher price bracket. So you think about that thoughtful and practical design. Powerful performance thanks to the Tensor G4, exceptional camera system, bolstered by impressive AI, class-leading battery life, that'll see you through the day and beyond. And that unprecedented 7-year software support promise, it's a serious contender for the best value smartphone of 2025. Google has really raised the bar in the mid-range segment.
It certainly sounds like a fantastic option, especially for those looking to get into the Google ecosystem or upgrade from an older Android device.
Absolutely. It really showcases the strengths of Google's integrated hardware and software approach in a very compelling way.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the Google Pixel 9a. We hope you found these insights from our ReviewHub review helpful in understanding what this phone has to offer.
As always, we encourage you to do your own research and really think about which features matter most to you when choosing your next smartphone.
If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast for more in-depth tech news and analysis. And don't forget to visit reviewhub.in for more detailed reviews and all the latest tech insights from our team.
It was a great discussion, Gary.
You too, Maya. And for our listeners, here's a final thought to chew on. With Google so aggressively pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the mid-range smartphone market, what other flagship-level features do you predict will trickle down to more affordable devices in the next few years? Something to consider until our next deep dive.